Well, my name is Kelsey Lichtenwalner, and I'm the livestock agent in Warren County. And we are at the Granville County Livestock Arena, where we are at our regional hay day. And we're very excited about our hay day because we hope farmers will get to come, get some hands-on experience about how to manage their weeds, how to store their hay in an efficient manner so that it lasts longer and they don't have as much wastage, as well as fertility management and several other topics that we're very excited about to talk about.
Appreciate y'all coming out and being a part of this, I guess you call it a 4-county hay day. Our plan for the day is we'll have some educational sessions. We'll be walking around in the sun a little bit. Jim's going to talk a little bit about his one of his favorite topics, and that's storing hay.
2 days later, that one on top rolled off. Just the fact that you set it down that's there don't mean it's going to stay there. Respect the round bale of hay. That when you get it off the ground, it's an accident waiting to happen. When you look at that bale, it's pretty much even from one end to the other. It's rolled tight, and it's just a pretty good bale of hay. Bales like that and pick those up in particular and put them under sheds, you're okay. But if you leave this bale sitting out, you're going to be in real trouble with spoilage over the winter time. The last bale of hay, what I want to demonstrate with that is this end is lower than the other end. And that's because there's not enough hay on this end. Somebody wasn't watching the monitor too well. Because all the water that falls from up there hits here. It doesn't go in the bale. But when it's tilted the other way, every bit of the water goes right in the bale.
Most of our forages around here are cool season. Their growth pattern is in the springtime when it's nice and cool, they grow like crazy and produce a lot of forage. However, when the temperature gets above 80, 85 degrees, they go dormant.
What's fescue doing in April and May? It's growing like crazy, isn't it? Fescue grows in 2 seasonal peaks and valleys. Springtime it goes boom, it produces a lot of forage. April and May is that primary growing conditions for it, and it produces a lot of forage. And then we come in hopefully in May, right after the seed head gets out of the boot, and cut it for hay. That's when it's the best quality.
There's not a lot of forage grown during the summer months. They would call that the summer slump. Summer annuals are a way of extending that growing season, get something growing while it's hot, up 90 degrees plus, and still get a lot of production and a lot of tonnage that you can put in the barn for winter feed later on.
Weed management is essential for several different reasons. One is toxicity. Toxicity if you're going to graze it, toxicity even if you're going to hay it, because those weeds get into the hay, and that's a big issue.
$3,000-$4,000, maybe higher a piece goats, turn them out into that lush green pigweed, and about half of them die. That's a lot of money.
Why don't you manage a hay field like you do a tobacco, corn, or soybean field? It needs to have a lot of management to be able to be a highly productive field. Reading labels, finding out what's on the, if you have a grazing restriction, if you have a haying restriction, if it's 30 days, 7 days, no restrictions. You need to know that before you put a lactating animal on there, before you put a grazing animal on there. The main issue is get control early and identify those weeds early. Get out there and look at your pasture. I'm just going to take you through about 12 or 13 weeds here. It's hot out here, I know, and let you just do a question-answer guessing game of what some of these are out here.
Mr. Smith pointed to a spot right behind you there. Everything's kind of mashed down and not growing quite as well. He said, I bet a round bale of hay sat there.
I bet it did too. I never even thought about that.
So that's another thing. Maybe it's getting back on Mr. Smith's talk a little bit, but he said leave the hay out in the field for a little while, but don't leave it too long.
And NCDA says you can get one sample from an area as large as 20 acres. Now you may want to go a little more fine scale than that, but you could certainly get one sample from this 5-acre field. I'm going to zigzag across the field and get 10 to 15 cores with a soil probe, put that in the bucket and mix it up. And that way I'm getting an area that's representative of the whole field. And it's one sample, but I've got 10 to 15 cores from this field going into that one sample mixed up.
And I saw this research project this past spring, and I told the agents, hey, I want to make the other producers aware of the round bale dilemma. Should we net wrap it with a string? And they were really concerned about the health impacts from cattle ingesting excessive amounts of this net wrap. This came off one bale of hay. This is the net wrap that just came off one bale. We know that you can net wrap it a lot faster, but if you have that attachment built in on your hay baler, that's going to be another $3,500 to $4,000. That the plastic wrap that comes is going to be more expensive versus the twine.
Hi, my name is Miguel Castillo. I'm a forage specialist at NC State University. Today I will talk to the producers about forage fertilization. And there are basically two big themes that we need to think about. The potential of your soils to provide nutrients, also to think about in terms of irrigation, in terms of the depth of the soils. And the second part is the types of plants, the types of forages that you're trying to grow into those soils. So are those plants adapted to that type of soil? How many of you know what this Soil Web Survey is? What the Soil Web Survey does for you? You go online, you put the address of your farm, okay? And once you put the address of your farm, it will actually give you the exact type of soil to the serious levels that you have in your farm. Tell me what is the potential of this soil to grow which types of crops and how much yield should I expect? And so let's say, for example, they say realistic yield expectations for a sessile sandy loam in Granville County, fescue for hay production. You can get approximately 4.9 tons of tall fescue, okay? So, if you're planning your operation, right, and you are trying to calculate how much hay I'm going to get out of this field, here are some estimates for you.
For our hay producers and our livestock producers, we have cost share to help establish watering facilities, renovate pastures, establish pastures, as well as putting in fencing and establishing rotational grazing systems to graze more efficiently.
I'm Scott Clark, Quality Equipment Company in Henderson. Today we got a 459 baler we got out here, and we've got a 6150R tractor, and we just brought it out here to put it on display, hopefully get a little interest from some of these farmers around, and we got good quality equipment, service and parts.
Hello, I'm James Williams with Williams Equipment from the large community of Inez in southern Warren County. We're a dealership that specializes in hay equipment and hay handling equipment. So the customer would slide the bales on with the spear on the front end loader. When you get out and you're ready to unload them, come down here, you bring this handle around, unlatch it, and lift up.
Oh.
They all go rolling off the side and you're unloaded.